Good morning, everyone. Okay, let me get you updated a little bit. And let me tell you what we're going to do today. All right, so we did about 11 miles yesterday. So I might have told you this yesterday, but I'll tell you again. So we're kind of doing a couple short days only because Grayson's wife is picking us up on Friday instead of Saturday. And the reason being is because of a get-off point. So if we go past the get-off point she's actually going to pick us up at, we're 28 miles from a get-off point, and Grayson can't stay on that long. So that's fine. Works out great. We're going to get off on Friday. I need to do some laundry and need to get a fuel canister and, you know, that kind of stuff. Pick up some packages from the post office. Do a few, you know, maintenance stuff. So that's good. And then I'll get back on either Sunday afternoon or early Monday morning. That's up in the air still. However, once I get back on, I'm going to stay out 6 straight days. Average 15 mile a day, and then Brother Grayson is going to be nice enough to pick me up again so that I can go to church again next Sunday, as well as get laundry and resupply and that kind of stuff. And that'll put me into the Shenandoahs about midway. So that works out really good. And then once I get back on, then it's basically just moving into Pennsylvania. So I should be into Pennsylvania about 2.5 weeks, maybe a little less, depending on, you know, a lot of these miles that we talk about really are dictated by the weather. So we do have a 20% chance of showers today. We do have some weather moving in for tomorrow. It doesn't look horrible, but we're getting off tomorrow. So, you know, if I do get a little wet overnight, I can dry out at Grayson's backyard. So that's not a big deal. Excuse me. It's been a great week to hike with him. It's just been wonderful. We've done a lot of ups. So we were talking about that this morning. We've done 8,000 feet in 2 days in elevation gain. So that may not sound like a lot, but when you're doing it, that's a lot of ups. But it's been good. The trail's been good. And it's been really clean. This section, one thing I can say about Virginia is the trail has been really clean. Not a lot of micro garbage. The shelter areas have been extremely clean. People seem to be very respectful. It's been very nice, actually. We haven't seen, you know, any plastic bottles or nothing like that. So that's been encouraging anyway. So we're going to get wrapped up. So this morning I'm going to do a video that I'll attach to this video. Question and answer. We're going to get set up and do it. I just had some questions on the YouTube, and I've had some questions via personal email throughout the trail that I really haven't addressed. I have addressed them. I have emailed those people back with answers. However, I thought they were really good questions. There's about 5 or 6 of them that were solid questions that I'd like to answer. And so Grayson and I are going to answer those together, and it'll give you guys a chance to meet Grayson as well. So we're going to do that, and then we're going to get on trail, and we're going to take you guys with us, as long as you'll stay along for the ride. Hey guys, chapter 2 again. So for the last 2 weeks now, I've been hiking with a section hiker. For the first week, I hiked with him and his son, Hercules, but his son had to go back to work. Poor kid. Anyway, Grayson and I have been out here for the last week by ourselves hiking together. And I'll tell you, I'll never forget him. He's taught me a lot. He's just been an inspiration to me, and I've really thoroughly enjoyed our hikes together. But anyway, I'd like to introduce you to Grayson. Hi, Grayson.
Hey.
So first and foremost, tell us how you got your trail name.
Well, I gave it to myself.
Okay.
I wanted it to be a witness. I'm a adopted son of Jesus Christ. So, Gray, son.
That works. That works. So tell us what intrigues you about keep coming. I know you've done quite a few sections of the AT. So what keeps you coming back to the Appalachian Trail?
Well, it's sort of been a dream I've had since high school when I read about it. And there's something about the challenge of it. And the other thing about the trail is it just compresses life. there are only certain things that you have to worry about. You have to get your shelter, get your food, get your miles in, and then a lot of other stuff drops off. So it's just a nice way to get away from all the other telephone and all that kind of garbage, and just come out and kind of decompress a little bit.
Well, yeah, I think that's true. I think it's, I definitely think you hit the nail on the head there. You have to worry about very minimal stuff, but the stuff you do worry about is important at the time.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Like staying warm in a rainstorm.
Yeah. We won't go into trials and tribulations, but this hike for you has been good. It's been eye-opening, don't you think?
Yeah.
I mean, you've seen some good, some bad, some ugly. I mean, it's kind of been everything rolled into what the Appalachian Trail really is.
Sure. So. I wanted to come out, and I told my wife I wanted to experience the whole gamut, like even rain, and figure it out. And it's helped me. It'll help me for the next time. I'll adjust my gear and have a little better expectation of what things are, and interacted with a lot of cool people, and learned a lot from a lot of different people, so it's been a lot of fun.
Well, there was an old guy at the very beginning of the trail that made the comment, and you'll appreciate this. He said, if you're not prepared, the trail's going to show you that real quick.
Yeah.
So even the smallest things that you didn't think about, if you don't have them, you're going to find out about them really fast. So, all right, well, we're going to do a question and answer here in just a second. We're going to do it together. So stay along for the ride. All right, guys. So we're going to do a little question and answer, and these are questions that I've gotten since I've started, and I have answered them to the people that ask them, but I just thought I'd kind of do it, because I thought some of the questions were really good. So, but now I got to think of what they were. So one question was, what was one question we talked about yesterday?
Do people shave on the Appalachian
Trail? Oh yeah,
Trail?
do people shave on the Appalachian Trail? Well, they do, and I'm sitting next to one that has. He hasn't in a couple of days, but when we first started, he was shaving because his wife does not care for a beard. I'm not going to tell you that Johnny likes a beard necessarily. However, I'm not shaving. So, I mean, the thing is that when you're at home and you shave, you run the warm water, you get your face warm, you shave. You're not going to do that out here. It's like a dip into the universe. You try to shave in some of these creeks, it's, minus 10 degree water. At least that's what it feels like on your skin. So that isn't happening. The other thing is, one was water. Somebody asked me something about water, how many liters I need and this, that, and the other. That really dictates on the weather. However, I think one of the big misnomers out here is just because it's cool outside doesn't mean you don't need water. You have to hydrate. So, it depends on when we leave camp. Is what we were talking this morning. So we're going to be hiking into a lot of water. So we're only going to carry 1 liter today coming out of camp. But we know that we've got water 2 miles from us. So, you kind of have to regulate that. If you're going to go up a big climb and there's water at the top or there's water as you go up, you certainly don't want to carry 4.5 pounds of water for no reason. You just have to make sure that those, you look at Gut Hook or AWOL or whatever, that those water sources, look at the comments and make sure that those water sources are there and are reliable water sources. So, you have to do your homework. And then making that comment, and I'll let Grayson tell us what he thinks about this, but, hiking is one thing. Having proper gear is important. The logistics of these hikes are huge. They take 75% of your time just doing the logistics of where you're going to stop, where you're going to eat, where you're going to get water, all those types of things. And I think you've learned some logistic things just on this trip, have you not?
Yeah.
So logistics is big. I mean, and you got to be careful too, because it'll consume you, won't it? Always looking at the map and
yeah.
So, but in the situation that we're in now is the pickup point.
Right. We have to pick a spot where we can get picked up.
Right. Because if we go past that pickup point, we're 28 miles before we can get picked up again.
We're in the wilderness.
Right. So those are and those are things you really have to be careful about when it comes to resupply. You don't want to run yourself so thin on food and then hope you can get off. You got to be able to plan where you can get to a resupply, right?
Right. I mean, you're out here, you're expending energy, and then it gets a little chilly, and you don't have food. Your furnace is out of fuel.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
You've got to have food.
Yep. So that was a big one too. Was about the resupply and that type of thing. There was another one about hostels. I won't tell you that I've been in a bad hostel, because I haven't. I've been in nicer hostels than others. However, a hostel is what a hostel is. It's shelter, it's a shower, and it's laundry. So
it's not the Marriott.
It's not the Marriott, and they come in a lot of different ways.
And thank camp.
Yeah, just glorified camp. However, when we needed a hostel, it was there. Yeah. So hostels are what they are. I've been to some great hostels. The Refuge, hostel around the bend. They've been awesome. And I've been to Quarterway Inn. Miss Tina was amazing. And if you ever get a chance to stay there, her breakfast is phenomenal. So I've been to some great hostels, and then I've been to hostels that were just what they were. They were shelters, and they were fine. I mean, I needed a hot shower, I needed to do laundry, I needed to stay dry, and they were definitely that. So, hostels are. This is a cliche, but hostels are what you make them. They really are. They are what they are. Let's see, another question. Oh, do I this was one, and I answered this a long time ago. Do I sleep in shelters? No. I slept in a shelter one time in the...
Do you sleep with mice?
No, yeah, no. So actually 2 times. I slept in a shelter twice in the Smokies because of snow. And it was going to get down to... Oh, you know what? That's not true. 3 times. I forgot about that. And you guys will know about the one when I was with Big Hungry, and we got snowed on coming out of Watauga Lake. We did stay in a shelter that night. It got down to about 27 degrees. Excuse me. They always come in threes. It got down to about 27 degrees. We were hiking in 3 inches of snow, and then we hiked out in snow and got into a shelter. But so 3 times I have stayed in shelters. I don't make it a habit because most of them have mice, and I cannot stand mice. So I usually put my tent up. However, on the flip side of that, there are a lot of people that do nothing but stay in shelters. Yeah. So, they just become immune to it, I guess. I don't know. And there's cleaner shelters than others, too, as well. But, yes. So, to answer the question, I typically do not stay in shelters. Let's see. Another good question. I'm trying to think.
Well, you were talking about resupply back there. So part of that is getting to a town where you can actually get something, or getting into town. Like we resupplied the other night. We had to get 5 miles into town.
Right.
Fortunately, a good Samaritan named Tim picked us up and took us in. And then getting back out. So
right, and getting back. And in our case, we had somebody. Now that's something I'd like to bring up. Glasgow, Virginia, little postage stamp place. I mean, just itty bitty. They had a community AT shelter for AT through hikes. That was amazing.
Yeah,
it had great. Plug-in station, had shower. Grayson took a shower, hot shower, right?
Yes, I did.
So they had grill areas where you could actually, because we were in town, so you could buy, food, meat, and that kind of stuff, and cook it right there if you chose to do so. A big field to put plenty of tents and flat. My goodness. Yeah. Me and flat spots. That's a whole nother video. Yeah, and had trees for him to hammock. So, but it was great. And it was right behind the restaurant that we ate at. It was maybe 0.2 from Dollar General. It was just located great. It was quiet. There wasn't a lot of road noise and stuff like that. And it was built by the Boy Scouts, and it's maintained by the Methodist Church. They do a great job. But the most impressive part of all of it is the hikers keep it clean. The hikers do a really nice job of keeping that place clean.
Yeah.
And that was impressive. So that was a cool thing. But yeah, we hitched a ride going in and then getting out. Luckily for us, there was a hiker there who was getting a shuttle, and so we just all split a shuttle and got back out, and cost us $7 or whatever it was. So it wasn't a big deal. But those are things you have to pay attention to. The trail doesn't always walk through a town, so you gotta realize that you're 4 miles or 3 miles. And then, quite honestly, like when I was in Bland, Virginia, you got to be willing to walk. I mean, it was 3 miles. I walked in. I got a ride out. Minister there was in the Dollar General store, and he offered me a ride back to the trailhead, and that was great. But you're not always going to get that, so you have to be prepared to do what you need to do to resupply. So, and the other thing is, because we're so addicted to these phones, is charging. You don't want to be out here without some sort of SOS device, whether it be an inReach or a phone or whatever. Both, though, need to be charged. So being able to keep your battery banks full, and again, we're getting back to logistics part of it. That's the biggest part of this trail, is the logistics issue of it. So I can't really think of any other big questions. Or questions.
What about bears?
Oh boy. Okay. Well, that is a good one. I've had a ton of questions about bears. Luckily, I haven't seen any bears this season yet. We haven't gotten into Pennsylvania yet. There's a lot of bears in PA. And quite honestly, there's a lot of bears in Georgia too. However, I went through there such early in the season that they were still sleeping. Right now, within the last week and a half, maybe, is when they're starting to get out. I noticed the ATC put a warning out for mile marker 96 and mile marker 92 that there had been some bear activity. Of course, that's way behind me now, but they're starting to get out. One of the things I look for when we go into, one of the reasons why I don't stay around shelters. So if there's a shelter that's close to a road access, I'm very leery about it, because you get a lot of weekend people that may not be I don't think they do it on purpose, but they don't understand the trail the way you do as a thru hiker. And they might leave some, garbage in the fire pit or whatever. They think that it's not a big deal. However, bears will find that. And if they find that, they're going to keep coming back. So that's one thing I always look at the fire pits when I'm in a shelter area, make sure there's not a lot of garbage. I haven't seen any bear scat on trail, which is always a good indicator that they're pretty close. I know if you watch the video, Johnny and I saw bear scat on the trail, in the Black Forest Trail, up in northern Pennsylvania, and we saw 2 bears on that trail. So hang your food. Put it in bear boxes that are, in Virginia, there's a lot of bear boxes at the shelter areas. Even at some of the tent sites, there's bear boxes. Find a place to hang your food. That's not a sure thing either. There's been a couple of reports, even this year, since I've been on trail, that bear bags have become missing off a tree. You got to be a little common sense worthy when you hang your bag. You don't hang it close to the tree. Don't hang it all the way up to the limb. There are some things, and there's a lot of videos out there that you can watch that are real good about telling you how to hang your bear bag. PCT style is always good. You just have to really just pay attention. The other thing is, in a shelter area, like last night, we had 20 people in here. So 9 times out of 10, a bear's not going to come hunting around 20 people. Those bears are as scared of you as you are of them. The thing they're coming for is what they can smell with their nose, and that's food. So you just have to be careful. Go ahead, your 10 cents on bears.
Well, black bears are pretty shy animals.
They are.
And they won't attack people knowingly. The only 2 scenarios are if they've been tamed kind of by people feeding them, or if it's a mother with cubs.
Yeah.
But black bears aren't like, grizzlies have a reputation of attacking people, but black bears, you just yell at them and they turn around and run tail.
Right.
So,
and I carry a bear whistle in my pouch on my belt strap on my pack. Believe me, if you want to see a bear turn into a jaguar, you blow that whistle and they'll take off. So, however, you're laying in your tent, you're not necessarily, I don't sleep with it. So, you just have to, common sense out here is big. Common sense anywhere is
don't
big.
do something stupid.
Yeah, but if you're gonna open up a tuna pack and then leave your tuna pack laying in the fire ring, guess what? You might get a visitor. So, you just have to pay attention. That's really the big thing with bears. Pennsylvania, the thing you worry about bears, but you worry about porcupines. You don't want to leave your tent pole or your trekking poles out and make sure they're in your tent because the porcupines will eat the cork off the handles. So there's just things that you learn on trail or that you become a victim of, and you can pass that information on. And once you learn it once, you'll never have to you won't do it again. So,
how many poisonous snakes have you seen?
I haven't seen any poisonous snakes. We saw a black snake.
Yeah,
you were there for the black snake, but I haven't seen any poisonous snakes yet. It's still a little too cold for a lot of these snakes. I know when we were up on the West Rim Trail in Pennsylvania, we saw some snakes sunning up on the rocks. But again, rattlesnakes aren't going to chase you around. You just give them their distance and use a little common sense. There's a zoom thing on your camera for a reason. Zoom in and take a picture. Don't try to get right on top of them and take a picture. So, but yeah, it's all just, and again, those rattlesnakes are just as scared of you as you are of them. So,
yep.
But any other big topic questions you can think of? I'm sure there's something I'm missing. I just don't know what it is.
Can you sleep in a hammock on the Appalachian Trail?
You can. He can. He has. And I wasn't going to break that out yet, but I'll tell you, I'm going to try. Ron's going to, I'm really intrigued by it. So Ron's going to loan me, he makes his own hammocks. So he's going to loan me a hammock and a tarp, and I'm going to try it for a week and see how it works. And if it works, then I may make a change. Not sure. But I'm intrigued. It certainly, I can tell you this. Yesterday we come into camp. He had his hammock completely set up and was sitting in it before I even had my tent off the ground. So I can tell you that it is a whole lot faster to set up than it is to put a tent up. So we'll see. I'm going to try it and I will report back. So, all right, guys. Well, I think we've rambled enough, but I hope we've answered some questions. And again, if you have any questions regarding the trail or something that you've seen me do and you're not sure why or whatever, feel free to leave a question in a comment or direct message me, whatever, and I'll get back with you. Pretty good about answering them. Sometimes it takes me a day or so because of service, but pretty good about answering all the emails and questions and that kind of stuff. So, all right, guys, we're going to keep taking you with us. Stay along for the ride. Guys, chapter 2 here. So we're in this section on the Appalachian Trail for the next 1.4 miles. This kiosk I'm looking at says Memories of Brown Mountain Creek Community. So this was a community of freed slaves back in the early 1900s. And along this stretch of the trail, which is right there, we're probably going to see some remnants of that small community of hardworking people that were freed slaves. So there is your history lesson of this part of the trail. Stay along for the ride.